Hey guys, welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers playbook tip, and the formation I chose to break down for you guys is the gun wide trips weak formation. I think it's really cool, especially out of the Steelers playbook. They have a lot of unique plays with a lot of unique auto motions, and it was just really unique. And so I think it's also very good, and I just wanted to show you guys it. It's something that nobody really runs, and it's probably something that a lot of people don't even know exists. So yeah, let's jump right into it because there's a good bit of plays. So the first thing you notice on the first page is nothing but auto motion plays. So you got Steeler Slant, Y Shallow Cross, Steeler Fade, and on the next page you also have 3 auto motion plays with Mesh, Steeler HP Base, and PA Steeler in. Pretty much a lot of playbooks, a lot of Y trips and stuff will have Y Shallow Cross and Mesh. I'm sure you guys are familiar with those plays. Those are pretty much in every single playbook, but the other 4 plays are not, obviously, and are very unique. And I really like pretty much all of them except for PA Steeler in. I don't really run that much, but I really like they have the HP Base, which is a good run. I really like the Steeler Slant and the Steeler Fade. So I'll start off with the Steeler Slant since this is the first play. We'll go ahead and go against a random defense. Let me just move this back to the middle here. I was messing around with another play right before I did this video. So pretty much there's 2 ways you can run this play. You can run it stock just as it is, or the other way that I was messing around and had some success with was putting Miller on an in route. But I'll just break down the play. Pretty much Brown's going to run his auto motion. It's a little auto motion out route, and your first read is always going to be Wheaton in the flat. I'm always going to read the right side of the field first. You want to read Wheaton in the flat, getting a little tongue-tied. Wheaton in the flat. If he's open, go ahead and throw it. If not, you want to look and see if Brown's open. Generally, Antonio Brown will be open on that route because whoever's guarding the flat will shoot out to Wheaton, leaving Brown wide open. Even before he cuts, a lot of the times he'll be open. You'll be able to throw it really quickly. If for whatever reason that's covered, if it's usered or whatever, then you want to look to the left side. You have Le'Veon Bell on a pretty sharp wheel route up the left sideline, and then you've got Martavis Bryant running. It's almost like it looks like a hot routed post route almost. It's shorter than a post but longer than a slant. It's actually really good. It gets really good depth on the field, and it's very effective at. You can fit it in between zones pretty nicely. It also beats man-to-man pretty well. And then your last read is going to be Heath Miller on his little check down block and release hitch route, I guess, is really what it is. So go ahead and run this a few times for you guys just so you can see it right there, and the ball got tipped at the line of scrimmage. But if you guys were paying attention, you could see that Antonio Brown, I'll show you guys that just in case you didn't see. Antonio Brown against man-to-man, especially you have someone who runs as good of routes as Antonio Brown. Look how his man just like backpedals into the middle of the field for no reason. And when he cuts to the outside, he's going to be wide open. You can hit that all day if they're staying in man-to-man and not using it. And if they have no like flat zone or purple zone out there. But unfortunately, is that Suggs came off the edge and knocked it down. So I'll go ahead and try to run this again for you guys. Let's see. Right there, I saw no one out in the flat and hit Wheaton and ran out of bounds. But as you can see, even though I made a bad play and ran out of bounds, I was still able to get 3 or 4 yards. So obviously if no one's in the flat, you want to go ahead and attack that quickly. Right there, no one was open on the right side, so I just waited for Martavis Bryant to clear the zones, and I was able to fit that in there just in time. I was also waiting to see if Heath Miller was going to release on his route. So really good. Pretty much you just want to always read the right side first and then come back to the left side. Also this play, you could also run this play just for the Martavis Bryant route. It's something that if you think it'll be open, you can go ahead and just, if you think the right side, the auto motion is going to draw your opponent's attention, then you can just stare down Martavis Bryant, wait for him to get open. I'll go ahead and try to throw that route for you guys here. He does a good job of, he'll get deeper than the hook zones can guard, but he'll be shallow enough so that the deep zones won't come down and jump the route. So that's what I was talking about. It gets really good depth on the field. You can just fit that in pretty much against any zone. It's as long as you have enough time in the pocket, it's something that you can fit in pretty easily. So I really like that play. not as like a base play or anything, but something that's not only situational. It's really good in like short yardage situations, but it's also something you can pull out just randomly, just to kind of catch your opponent off guard and give them something to think about. So the next play is Y shallow cross, and there's also two ways that I would run this play. Is the first way that I generally run it is I'll go ahead and fade Martavis Bryant for the user catch option, and then basically as the game progresses, if they're like using the Antonio Brown route or something, I'll go ahead and run the play stock, because they'll think Martavis Bryant's running like a fade, so they won't expect him to be coming across the middle of the field, and sometimes he'll be wide open on like a crucial play or something. So that's just kind of an adjustment I like to make. You obviously don't have to do that, but this is the way I run it most of the time. Is I'll go ahead and put him on a fade, and pretty much what you want to look for is Wheaton in the flat. If you see that like no one's out there and he'll be open when he cuts, go ahead and throw that. And then generally I'll look for Antonio Brown, see if he looks like he's going to be open. If he is, go ahead and throw that. And then you've got the kind of dual crossing routes underneath with Miller and Bell as like check down routes, and then you've got the one-on-one user catch with Bryant if it's available to you. So I'll go ahead right there, no one in the flat, go ahead and take the easy 9-10 yards with Wheaton. So this formation really attacks the flats pretty well, as you can tell. So your opponent really has to pay attention to those out there. And that's something that I think a lot of people kind of take for granted, is the flats right there. Just take what the defense gives you. And Le'Veon Bell was wide open underneath. Just go ahead and take that 6 yards all day long if they're going to give it to you. Right there, I could have hit the flat again, but I was trying to hit Heath Miller just to show you guys some different routes, but I'll just hit what's open. Let's see. Right there, Miller. Miller generally does a good job, even though he's super slow. Hopefully you're using a team with a faster tight end. But as you can see, he's still got really good separation on his man and was able to get a lot of yards despite having like 72 speed or whatever he has. Right there, it was kind of cramped. There wasn't everything. They played really good coverage, so everything was kind of covered. So I just had to check it down, but you guys will get a feel for the play. Let me try to hit this Antonio Brown route. That's a really good route. It's unpressable because of the auto motion. Generally, it's like 50-50 for me whether or not it gets good positioning against man-to-man. Sometimes the man will play it really well and you won't be able to throw it. Other times he'll get good inside position, you can throw it. So just be careful. It's not like something that's always open against man. But against zone, generally if they're not using it, it'll find a window that you can throw it in just like that. The next play is Steeler fade. Pretty much the only adjustment I make is I fade Martavis Bryant. And then also, generally I'll put Le'Veon Bell on a block and release flat route just as a check down. But pretty much the Antonio Brown route, it will be open literally like every time if your opponent's not using it. And I'm not saying that there's no adjustment that they can make to where they won't have to use it, but I was running this play early in practice mode, and literally every single play, if I wanted to, I could hit the Antonio Brown route. Like, I'll try to show you guys right now. And right there, the pressure got to me, but you guys could see Antonio Brown was naked over the middle, especially against man-to-man, because he cuts so quickly. You could literally just do that, pick up 5-6 yards every single play if nobody's using it. I'll just go ahead and do it again. It's something that's very consistent. Like the hook zones, it's a route concept. The post and the corner just clear out the zones for the underneath route, which is how the play's supposed to work. But it works so well, it just works pretty much literally every single time. And so you can just hit that over and over. Obviously, the other routes on the play are still pretty good as well in their own right. You have a corner route, which is pretty effective against man-to-man. You have a post route, which can be effective against both man and zone. Obviously, if you see that's wide open when he cuts, go ahead and throw that. And then you've got the one-on-one option on the left, and then you have a check down to Le'Veon Bell if you need to throw that. Right there, go ahead and hit the corner route against man-to-man. I threw that kind of late, so I had to come back and try to cut the ball off so it didn't get jumped and picked. A little bit sloppy from me. Right there, that was what I was talking about. Against zone, if you see when the post cuts over the middle, go ahead and throw it. I'll try to hit Martavis Bryant right here, just so that I hit every single route. Couldn't do it. Good play by Ladarius Webb. But yeah, you guys get the idea. That Antonio Brown route's really difficult to cover. Pretty much has to be usered. This is a very good play to call or save in your back pocket for late game, short yardage situations. Pull it out, something your opponent's not expecting, get that easy 5-yard gain. Other play, or the next page, pretty much mesh is mesh. Like, there's not much to say about it. I leave everything as it is, and just pretty much if I'm calling mesh, I'm looking for one of the two crossing routes. It's usually a short yardage situation, and I'm just trying to get like 5 yards. And so it's just something that's really consistent. It's really hard to cover both crossing routes if you make the right read. Like, obviously Bryant got lit up right there and fumbled, but pretty much if you make the right read, these crossing routes are good for at least 3 yards. So really tough to stop. And then obviously you have more routes. You have a post, a corner, and the wheel from Le'Veon Bell. So, but those routes are really just complementary. Usually I'm tunneling really hard on the crossing routes. I'll go ahead and admit it. I tunnel super hard on a lot of my plays. But and this one's no different. I just said differently. Right there. Saw the post was open. So yeah, just take what the defense gives you. But a lot of times when I call that play, I'm just looking for the double drags. Really consistent play to get short yardage situations taken care of. Steeler HB base is just HB base. Not much to go over there. PA Steeler in, like I said, I don't really run it. That auto motion like post corner looked good at first, but the more I ran it, the more I was just kind of like not really too impressed by it. None of the other routes are super impressive either, so it's something that I just wouldn't bother running, quite honestly. And I think you have more than enough good plays out of this little series. Just keep in mind, Steeler Slant, Y shallow cross, and mesh all have that left receiver flexed in, like closer to the offensive line, whereas Steeler Fade and the HB base have him flexed out. So what I like to do, or what I would do, is Y shallow cross, Steeler Slant, and mesh. Those would be kind of my 3 plays that I run a lot to give them the same look, so that they don't know, because if you come out of those 3 plays, then that receiver gets moved over, and so they can tell like you're not running one of these 3 plays. And those are 3 really good complementary plays to run off of each other. They all have the same auto motion, they all look the same, but they all attack different areas of the field. So you can really come out with a solid scheme and keep your opponent off guard with those 3 plays, and then branch out to the other plays in certain situations, or when you just want to give your opponent something different to think about. So some of the other plays that I like out of this formation, you've got, obviously you have 4 verticals if your opponent's calling a lot of cover 2, or if you just want to start user catching like I do sometimes. I'll just either get bored or get mad, and that's when I just start throwing bombs. It's a bad habit, but it happens. You have a halfback slip screen. Slip screens are really good if your opponent likes to blitz a lot. You've got stick and nod, which is a pretty good little short yardage play. I really like that Wheaton route. I've gone over this play in some of my other videos, but pretty much what I'll do is I'll smoke screen Brown, and I'll look for him in the flat immediately if he's open, if no one's out there. A little 5-yard gain, because generally if I'm calling this play, it's in a short yardage situation anyway, so I'm happy with just taking 4 or 5 yards or whatever. So if he's open, you go ahead and throw that. If he's not open, generally I will wait for Wheaton to come in underneath on his little inverse zig route and just take the 3-yard gain or whatever. It's something that if you haven't really run before, it's something your opponent probably won't be expecting. And even if you've only run it 1 time or 2 times in the game, it's still something that your opponent probably won't be expecting too much, because of the fact that you've been running so many other things out of this formation if you've been running the rest of the scheme. So, something to keep in mind. Right there, that A route used to be really good, but it doesn't really get as good a separation anymore against man-to-man. You can still throw it against zone. It's kind of hard, though, because a lot of times the zones will sink back and cover it, and that's why the Wheaton route's open underneath for like 3 or 4 yards almost every time. But so just be careful about throwing that little stick and nod route. This page is pretty interesting. You've got the Steeler Y trail, which is a good play. Pretty much what I like to do is put Brown on a smoke screen and fade Bryant, and look for Brown immediately in the flat. If he's open, just throw it. If not, look for Wheaton and then Miller coming in behind him. And so right there, you see Antonio Brown open in the flat, throw it, try to get upfield, and just try to make something happen. Hopefully he's not open again. Right there, I saw Wheaton kind of got covered by 51, but I saw 51 wasn't going to be in range to break on that Miller route and in time, and so I was able to hit that right there again. Antonio Brown was wide open in the flat. Just try to get upfield, make something happen. Another pretty good short yardage situation play. A lot of people, wide trail is a really popular play online. You'll see it a lot if you play online, ranked or MUT. It doesn't really matter. I've seen it a lot in both. So just kind of be wary of that right there. I threw that ball a little bit late. So people might know how to defend this better than the other things just by virtue of it being semi-popular. Because wide trail's been a very popular concept over the last, like, I don't know, since I've started playing Madden. Since, like, Madden 10, wide trail's been really, really popular. It's always because that trail route's pretty tough to defend every single year. So just something to keep in mind when running that play. The next two plays, the pit jet sweep and the PA fake jet pit. The pit jet sweep is something that I would probably call just like once or twice a game, just to kind of mix it up, and my opponent might not be ready for it or something. It might be in a bad defense for it, and I might bust a huge play. You never know. So it's just something I like to run every now and then. It's not the greatest play ever, mainly because your guard, the guard that pulls to block, he doesn't. It looks like a halfback base at first, but he doesn't cut up field quick enough. He runs to the outside, and so like a lot of times that's what happens. Like he'll end up blocking nobody, and he'll just run parallel to the line of scrimmage literally the entire time until someone runs at you, and by that time it's too late. So a lot of time he won't even block anybody, and so it's not because of that. It's not the best play ever, but I think it's decent enough that you can run it every now and then if you want. Just kind of mix it up and see how your opponent plays it, and see if you can catch him like super off guard and get a big play. Plus it's just a fun play to run because it's a jet sweep and it's pretty unique and no one runs it, so I like those kind of plays. And then the play action off of that is the PA fake jet pit or something like that. Let's see if I got that right. Yep, PA fake jet pit. Okay. And so the way I like to run this play is, this was the play. It works a lot better if you're on the left hash. This was the play I was messing with before I started the video, which is why I was on the left hash. Pretty much what you want to do is fade Antonio Brown, or what I do, and generally at the snap I'll roll out and look for, generally I'll look either for Bell or Wheaton. If whoever's in the zone over there drops super far back with Wheaton, you'll be able to hit Bell underneath, and you'll actually have decent blocking because you'll have Brown and Wheaton out in front of them, and you just try to get upfield, make something happen. If they, for whatever reason, they don't drop back with Wheaton and they come up to guard Bell or something, then you have Wheaton. I always pass lead it to the sideline so that it has a lesser chance of kind of getting jumped. Because if you throw it just like normal, the guy who's running deep with Antonio Brown, he'll break off of Antonio Brown and he'll be able to undercut that Wheaton route and make a play on the ball. And then you've got Martavis Bryant coming over the middle. Heath Miller, I really don't pay attention to him unless it's man-to-man. If it's man-to-man, he'll be open every now and then, but otherwise he's just kind of a distraction. So I'll go ahead and run this right there. I kind of got scared because the pressure was coming and just hit Le'Veon Bell and get upfield. 9 times out of 10 with this play, I find myself hitting Le'Veon Bell. Just kind of how it goes for me. Right there, I was able to hit. I saw it was man-to-man. If it's man, you're going to want to look for that Martavis Bryant route more times than not. If they have no safety, you might be able to hit him deep with Antonio Brown, or if every now and then Wheaton will cut really quickly on his route and he'll get really good separation. But otherwise, you're probably just going to want to try to hit Martavis Bryant crossing over the middle. I'll try to, nope, bad throw by Big Ben. I don't think I had enough space anyway. It's kind of difficult to hit that Wheaton route because a lot of defenses tend to cover it pretty well. Like right there, I would just hit, right there, he jumped it. Right there, I would have just hit Le'Veon Bell if I was in a game. But I'm trying to squeeze this route in. It's pretty rare for it to be open, honestly, which is why I said like 99% of the time I ended up hitting Le'Veon Bell. Just kind of boring, but as you saw right there, you get upfield and you get some blockers. If you have a good running back like Le'Veon Bell, you can make somebody miss, and you can get some huge plays out of just hitting the flat. So pretty effective play at what it does. Right there, that's what I was talking about. Man-to-man, if you see Heath Miller gets a really good release, you can go ahead and hit your tight end backside. If you have a really fast tight end and they play man-to-man, you have a one-on-one matchup backside. So if you catch it, you could turn up the sideline. They miss a tackle or something, you could take it to the house. Obviously, Heath Miller is pretty freaking slow, so he won't be taking anything to the house anytime soon. But somebody like Vernon Davis or, I don't know, Luke Wilson, someone with a lot more wheels. So that's pretty much it for the auto motion plays. The last play that I want to touch on is the inside zone, and I don't even really need to run it for you guys, but I'll do it anyway. Inside zone, pretty self-explanatory, pretty nice run. My favorite run out of the formation. I really like shotgun inside zones, like really like them. They're just really good. They usually get really good blocking right there. I got caught up on my lineman, but I would definitely recommend putting this as your run audible if you're running a custom. If you're not running a custom, then your run audible is the halfback mid draw, which is pretty depressing because I hate mid draws. Which reminds me, I forgot to go over the quick audibles out of here. So the quick pass is Steeler stick. So stick is stick. It's pretty self-explanatory. Generally, I'll look to see if Le'Veon Bell's open in the flat first. If he's open, just go ahead and hit him. If it's man-to-man, you can try to hit that slant route. Generally, you'll be able to recognize if it's man-to-man immediately when you look at Le'Veon Bell in the flat. Right there, Ben made an awful throw, and that was an awful read. But if neither of those routes are open, then I'll look to the other side and read the stick. So right there, I saw Bell was going to be open in the flat. I'll try to read the stick on the right side now. Let's see. Yeah, so right there, they sent like a big blitz. So Wheaton was wide open in the flat. That's going to happen every time they send a huge blitz like that. The deep pass is 4 verticals, which 4 verticals, pretty self-explanatory. This is against goal line, so it's not even like, don't even bother with that. But yeah, 4 verticals if your opponent's running a lot of cover 2, or if you just want to take a big deep shot, try to throw it deep to somebody. 4 verticals is a great play for that. And then PA Pit Flood is the play action pass. You have a pretty generic flood on the left side, and then you've got a circle route on the left by Martavis Bryant, which can be good against man-to-man. Opponent's playing a lot of man-to-man. You can definitely try to run this play and catch them off guard with that circle route. Otherwise, if they're not playing man-to-man, you call this play, you're just going to want to look for the flood on the right side. Read either, you're going to end up either hitting the flat or the out route more than likely. So let's see if I can get this circle route against, yeah. So it gets really good separation against man-to-man, like I was saying. Just wait for him to cut and go ahead and throw it. It's a good route to sneak in every now and then if your opponent plays a lot of man, but most people play zone, so you won't run into that too much. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this formation. I had a lot of plays to cover, and so I was trying to kind of speed through it, not take too much time on any individual play. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This is a very unique formation. If you run the Pit Playbook, definitely check it out. If you don't run the Pit Playbook, I would still recommend checking out because it's really unique and really fun to run. So until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.